Hello everyone, it's Nina and thank you for joining me for another video. Today's video in many ways is the answer to a question I had for a long time of how do I create a cohesive personal style. For a long time I felt that I had clothes that were all different vibes and I wasn't allowed to mix them. I had clothes that I considered cute and girly, some that I considered relaxed and casual, some that were more edgy and punk, and clothes that I only wore to the office. What I really wanted was a personal style that I felt could work with all occasions of my life, that felt really unified, as well as didn't make me feel awkward if I was combining pieces that weren't meant to go together. Part of my transformation was getting over this mental block that I was putting up and realizing that it was all in my head, thinking that my clothes weren't allowed to mix. But the other part is what we are going to be talking about today. My style development came from a method of hybridizing the styles I already wore and liked, and using the aspects of those styles I wanted more of as a guide for my future purchases. So let's move right along into the method. So the way I first started was based on a video by Miriam Style, but I went about it with a slightly different mindset. Miriam's video is very cerebral, so she sees the different styles that we are attracted to as representative of the different sides of our personality, and the way we can figure out why we like a particular style is by shifting into that mindset specifically and doing some sort of meditative questioning on what about that style is attractive to you. Then you can bring out another side that might be in opposition to the previous style and mediate between them to figure out how they could coexist. So to sum that up, the way this method works is really about communicating with yourself and getting to the root about why each style you wear already is attractive to you, and see if there are any common traits and details that translate to all styles in your wardrobe. And this new combined style will become your unique and cohesive personal style. I think this method is good because you probably already have a couple of favorite pieces in your wardrobe that you can use as a jumping off point to figure out what you like about a particular style. And if your favorite garment also works for multiple styles, you should analyze it and think about what about this piece in particular do you love the most about it, and also what are the elements in it that help bridge the gap between the different styles. One thing I will say about this method is I think it works best if you only have 2 or 3 max styles that you want to combine as opposed to like 10. For me, I work in an office and I don't want my style to be hidden behind my professional attire when I go to work. So for me, it was really about incorporating the other aspects of my style into my work clothes. However, I will say that you can have clothes just for chilling. Just because I can't wear an oversized t-shirt to work doesn't mean I'm going to get rid of every one I own from my wardrobe. It did mean that I only kept ones that had other aspects in them that were part of my desired look. Since I was going for a girly pastel look overall, I just tried to only keep casual wear that still fits that vibe. And jumping off of that, if you have a style that you don't want to combine, you can still keep those pieces in your wardrobe. But I think once you start to homogenize the different facets of your wardrobe, the pieces that fall outside of this new combined style will naturally just get less wear and you'll fall out of love with them over time. Now I wanted to touch on here the relevance of self-image and confidence in fashion. Despite the fact that I wear Lolita fashion and it is a style that is more out there if you just saw it out on the town, I actually don't like standing out and having a lot of attention on me. Partly because it's embarrassing, more so because it's annoying to have to constantly explain to people and justify what you're wearing, and I try to limit my social interactions as much as possible. But I do love the way Lolita fashion looks on me. I just love the dresses and the silhouette, so I've made it work for my confidence level. I've come to realize that a more muted sweet Lolita and classic Lolita is where my style rests, because it has a more subtle color palette and motifs that let me blend into society more than traditional sweet Lolita. So with this, I found a version of the fashion that worked with what I was comfortable wearing already. With my own style combining, I knew I liked the more girly, frilly, lacy elements of Lolita in general, but I did want to incorporate some of the pastel rainbow energy that comes with sweet Lolita specifically. And in combining them, I realized I don't really feel very comfortable wearing a super frilly pastel skirt, but if I had a skirt that was more simple and streamlined and it was just the color over the design details that was making it stand out, then that I was okay wearing. I've come to learn that from combining the key elements of your different substyles, you can find what works and what doesn't, and use both those things to inform your choices as you build your personal style. As it stands right now, I have a more muted, mature, feminine side of my wardrobe and a bright pastel minimalist side of my wardrobe, and I can wear them alone or combine them as I see fit to create a lot of different looks. So to recap everything, you can develop your personal style by figuring out what you love most about the styles you currently wear in design, comfort, and confidence level, and you can replicate those aspects in new pieces so that your wardrobe is cohesive in the end. This way, you aren't really taking on a sub-style entirely, but picking and choosing the most essential aspects of that sub-style to you and combining it with other sub-styles to create a look that's uniquely your own. I did want to talk really quickly now about how to decide what to bring into your wardrobe. With Lolita specifically, since a full cord is the end goal in mind, I try to only buy something if I know it will work for 3 or more of my dresses. Just that way I know it will get a lot of use. Another option is if every time you go to style a piece you think, oh, if I had X colored item it would make a really great combo, and you think this maybe 3 or 4 times, then this other item might be something you want to look into getting. I feel like it's really common, especially when you're online shopping, to try and build outfits with just the new pieces that you're adding to your basket, but really the clothes that you already have in your wardrobe should be the anchor of your personal style, not the clothes you wish you had. So try to think about the clothes you own first and how anything new you bring in will fit in with those clothes before you buy anything. And that's it. I think those are my tips for how you can build the wardrobe of your dreams. Really, fashion rules are meant to be broken, so just have fun with it. At the end of the day, the only person who really has to like your clothes is you, so why not work on dressing yourself the way you've always wanted to? I hope this video has been helpful and maybe hopefully inspiring for you. As always, consider subscribing if you aren't already, since I make videos on Lolita fashion content pretty frequently here. Also, if you want to see my cosplay work, you can find me on Twitch every single Saturday. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!